Imagine, if you will, a state of complete absorption in the act of creation, an existence devoid of concern for success or failure, or self-assessment against arbitrarily set high standards. For some, this state may be a frequent reality, but for the majority of people, I'd say, it may only feel like a distant, dissociated childhood memory. What do you want to be when you grow up? When I was a kid, me and my friends used to create stories and role-playing games. For example, we would role-play WWE with stuffed animals because we were captivated by the stories and the characters the show produced. We would make tournaments, championship belts, and even epic over-the-top commentary. We would make very badly drawn action, brutal comics about time travel, friendship, alien invasions, war, and torture. We were, however, fully immersed. There was no worry that what we did wasn't good enough. I didn't worry I wasn't good enough. Even as I write the script for this video, there is this sense that these things I used to do as a kid are uniquely important to me. I used to draw, as I said, I used to write, I used to be captivated by lots and lots of different things, and everything was done out of curiosity and passion. There was really no judgment, no criticism, no anxiety or shame. Everything was play, but now play feels lost. At some point during middle school, I believe, when I was about 12, it so happened that I brought up my feeble ambition to write a novel to my literature teacher. Admittedly, I think I was simply asking for validation and encouragement. Little did I know that instead I would receive the complete opposite of that. Her response, delivered in no uncertain terms, was that my overly complex and confusing writing style would render me incapable of achieving such a thing. Those words not only inflicted a sharp sting, branding me with the implicit label of not good enough, but also inadvertently crippled my ability to simply enjoy the creative process ever since. While I did eventually write a novel, a work of psychological fiction about different characters finding ways, often dysfunctional, of surviving their traumas, the joy of doing it was greatly diminished. My sense of dreadful insufficiency turned into an endless pit of shame and self-criticism. It doesn't matter how much I will ever be capable of doing, because everything I would set out to do would be corrupted by a sense of having to prove myself that I can do it, that I am good enough. However, deep in my soul, I would of course consider it not to be true. Everything I do gets eventually washed away by the fact that it might not be good enough. And how could I be good enough if I have to prove it? The purpose of play is not to win, but to keep playing. But today it feels like the only way to keep playing is to keep winning. On the one hand, the more you win, the easier it gets to continue winning, and vice versa. And not only must you play to win, but you must play to dominate. There is no room for genuine trust or genuine cooperation. Our existence feels defined by our accumulated outcomes, and the vast majority of people's outcome seems to be defeat. On the other hand, we are at a point in history where social and military tensions have been rising again. Many face a kind of disturbing societal unease, with economic uncertainties casting long shadows on their future. Governments feel weak and unreliable. Young people graduate into a job market increasingly susceptible to automation, with the threat of artificial intelligence looming large over everyone's head. The housing market presents soaring prices and limited options, leaving many feeling locked out of the dream of ever owning a home. In this context of constant, intense change and uncertainty, it's no wonder we feel pressured to constantly strive for success, often at the expense of our own well-being. The fear of falling behind in this fast-paced world stifles the very creativity needed to navigate these complex challenges. I don't claim to know a way to solve all this, like many other content creators out there. However, I would like to highlight the observation I made at the start of this video, that a long time ago me and my friends would be most absorbed in and passionate about games we'd set out ourselves, with goals and rules defined but what we thought would be fair and fun. In other words, it's very unlikely to win a game you don't want to play, much less a game that is as stressful and as unfair as the one most of us seem to be trapped in, that is the game of mutually defined success. Instead, perhaps you could pick your own game. Define what constitutes success and fairness for yourself and focus on what you truly love to do, the games you truly love to play. Imagine you're that child again and you get to ask yourself, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Wake up every day, I have some food and everything seems like it's going to be fine. Then all of a sudden shit